Today is Monday, the 3rd of February 2025, and such a special day. Vasant pancami, Sarasvatī puja, Pundarik Vidyanidhi appearance, Sri Visnupriya appearance, Raghunandana das appearance, Raghunatha das appearance, disappearance of Sri Visnupriya, and the disappearance of Sri Raghunatha Goswami Maharaj, and the disappearance of Bhakti Vivek Bharati Maharaj. So many personalities, 7-8 personalities. So we'll have a kirtan, and then Shama Didi, she will speak on Srila Vishnanath Chakravati Thakur, and my friend Bilvamangala Prabhu, he'll speak on Srimati Visnupriya, and I'll just introduce Sarasvatī puja, Vasant puja, and Raghunandana and Pundarik to begin with. So we'll have a kirtan.
Yes.
Go Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Okay, you're on.
Dandavat pranams to all the devotees. So we will begin with the song. It's called Mama Mana Mandire, and this is discovered by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Mama Mana Mandire Rahanishi Din Krishna Murari Krishna Murari Mama Mana Mandire Rahanishi Din Krishna Murari Sri Krishna Mama Mana Mandire Rahanishi Din Krishna Murari Sri Krishna Murari Mama Mana Mandire Rahanishi Din Krishna Murari Bhakti Priti Mala Chandan Bhakti Priti Mala Chandan Bhakti Priti Mala Chandan Bhakti Priti Mala Chandan Tumi niyo he niyo Chit Nandan Tumi niyo he niyo Chit Nandan Jivana Marana Tava Puja Nivedan Jivana Marana Tava Puja Nivedan Sundara he man Hari Sundara he man Hari Krishna Murari Sri Krishna Murari Krishna Murari Krishna Murari Yesho Nanda Kumar Nanda Kumar Yesho Nanda Kumar Yesho Nanda Kumar Nanda Kumar Yesho Nanda Kumar Abe Prema Pradipe Arati Shobha Prema Pradipe Arati Toma Prema Pradipe Arati Toma Prema Pradipe Arati Toma Nayana Jamuna Ya नरयनि नयन তোমার বিরহে গিরিধারি বিরহে গিরিধারি কৃষ্ণ মুরারি শ্রী কৃষ্ণ মুরারি কৃষ্ণ মুরারি শ্রী কৃষ্ণ মুরারি মম মন মন্দিরে রাহানিশি দিন কৃষ্ণ মুরারি শ্রী কৃষ্ণ মুরারি মম মন মন্দিরে রাহানিশি দিন কৃষ্ণ মুরারি শ্রী কৃষ্ণ মুরারি হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে হরে জয় রাধা মদন গোপাল রাধা মদন মোহন রাধে জয় রাধা মদন মোহন রাধা মদন মোহন রাধে जय राधा विनोद बिहारी राधा विनोद बिहारी राधे जय राधा विनोद बिहारी राधा विनोद बिहारी राधे जय जगन्नाथ जय बालदेवा जय सुभद्रा देवी जय सुदर्शना जय जगन्नाथ जय बालदेवा जय सुभद्रा देवी जय सुदर्शना हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल गौर गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय गुरुदेव
Jai Shishi Guru Garanga Ganhavika Girihari Radha Madan Mohan Ju Ki Jai Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Astotar Shishimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Astotar Shishimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Astotar Shishimad Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Jagat Guru Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Astotar Shishimad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvatī Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Paramahamsa Mahabhagavat Srila Gaurikishore Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Saptam Goswami Srila Satchidananda Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai. Jai Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Jai Srila Baladevi Dibhushan Gaudiya Vedanta Acharya ki jai. Jai Srila Visnupriya Chakravati Thakur ki jai. Jai Narottam Srinivas Shyamananda Prabhu Treya ki jai. Jai Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai. Jai Shri Rup Sanatan Shri Bhata Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Paradasa Raghunath Sat Goswami Prabhu's ki jai. Jai Swarup Damodar Rai Ramananda Gaura Parsadi ki jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai. Ananta Gauta Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. Om Aginati Mirandasya Gyananjala Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Shtapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kathamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Priya Surupe, Daita Surupe, Prema Surupe, Sahaja Rupe, Nijana Rupe, Prabhu Eka Rupe, Tatana Rupe, Swabila Surupe, Anapita Chirim Chirat Kurunavartano Kalo, Samarapaitam Unnata Ujvala Rasam Swabhakti Shriyam, Hari Purata Sundaratuti Katamba Sadapita, Sada Hridare Kandare Spadatu Vasachinandanaha, Yam Prabhajantamana Petyam Apeti Krityam, Dvaipaino Viraha Katara Ajuhava, Putre Titam Mayatayo Tarabo Benedustam Sarvabhutam Hridim Munimanatoshmi, Bhaktya Vihina Aparada Lakshay, Shiptas Chakarmadi Tarangamadye, Kripa Maitvam Sharanam Prapana, Vrinde Namaste Charanara Vindam, Vajami Radam Aravinda Netram, Smarami Radam Madhurashmitasyam, Vadami Radam Karuna Baradram, Tato Mamanasti Katyana Kapi, Tavaivasmi Najivami Tvaivina, Iti Vignaya Radhe Tvam Naimam Charanantikam. I'm first of all offering millions and millions of Dandavat pranams unto the lotus feet of my beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila, Pravishta Om, Asto Tadasara Shishimad, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And the same again, millions and millions of times unto the lotus feet of my beloved Nitya Lila, Pravishta Om, Asto Tadasara Shishimad, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada, and all our Rupanuga Guru Varga, my Dandavat pranams. To all the Vaishnava and Vaishnavi devotees of the Lord, my Dandavat pranams. Vansha kalpa tarubhyascha, kripa sindhubhyevacha, patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namaha. So, as we said earlier, such an auspicious day, Vasant Panchami, it heralds the end of the cold season, spring. It's the spring season, and certainly in Vrindavan, there's very often, many years I've experienced on this particular day, there's a turn in the weather and it actually becomes a little bit warmer. Vrindavan is a lot colder than where I am now in Bangalore. So Bangalore has been heating up more or less for the last 2 or 3 days. So springtime has arrived, and in Vrindavan, it's a most festive occasion. We see in the fields around, the cultivated fields, filled with yellow mustard seeds. Blankets of mustard seeds are there. It's very beautiful. It makes a whole backdrop of yellow. The ladies are wearing yellow. The young girls are wearing yellow. They're throwing yellow flowers. Krishna's pitambara is yellow. His dhoti is yellow. Springtime, it's beautiful. Very beautiful festive occasion. And in many parts of Braj, they perform the Holi festival today. They'll be throwing colors, celebrating the end of the dark winter season. So today, Vasant Panchami, and we are celebrating this with great festivity. Also, it's Sarasvatī puja. So today is Sarasvatī puja, and we're taught, it's described that there are two types of Sarasvatī. There is Vidya Sarasvatī, which refers to the material knowledge of this world, Vidya Sarasvatī, and then there is Shuddha Sarasvatī, or Devi Sarasvatī. So we have the example of Keshav Kashmiri, who was benedicted by Vidya Sarasvatī, and he could defeat all the populace of India in various debates and so on. He traveled all around. He was a Digvijay, which means that he's defeated in debates so many personalities all over India, all the 10 directions of India. But he came to Goradam, and he was directed. Actually, all the pundits were afraid, intimidated of him. He came with a huge crowd of elephants and followers, etc., and very famous bands, etc., playing in front of him. And all the pundits, they directed him to Nimai Pandit. And Nimai Pandit at that time was sitting quietly beside the Ganga with his students, many hundreds of students, and Keshav Kashmiri came there, and Nimai Pandit treated him very respectfully and said that actually he wasn't fit to discuss knowledge with such a great personality as himself, as Keshav Kashmiri. But Keshav Kashmiri decided to try to engage Nimai Pandit in a debate, and Nimai Pandit requested, Keshav Kashmiri, you please describe, give us some verses describing the glories of Ganga Mata. And immediately Keshav Kashmiri, like a whirlwind, produced like 100 beautiful verses glorifying Mother Ganga. And to Keshav Kashmiri's astonishment, young Nimai, who was 18, 19 years old at that time, he picked out the central verse of all those verses, and he repeated it back to him. And he asked that Digvijay, he said, can you tell me the alankas, the embellishments, and the faults in this verse? And Keshav Kashmiri was astonished that this young boy had even remembered the verse. He had chanted so many verses so quickly, like a whirlwind. But Nimai, young Nimai, had remembered this one particular verse, and immediately Keshav Kashmiri responded, there are no faults in these verses, in these shloks. And then Nimai went on to elaborate and actually explain there was a fault. He described the wife of Lord Shiva, Bhavani, in two different ways in this verse. And it appeared that Lord Shivji had two wives simultaneously, which was an inconsistency, which was wrong. And Keshav Kashmiri, he understood this, and he was struck dumb. He couldn't respond to Nimai Pandit's inquiries and remarks and so on. And the students, they began to chuckle because this great, proud Digvijay had been humbled. But Mahaprabhu, Nimai very kindly requested the students to be respectful, and he told that Digvijay Kashmiri, Keshav Kashmiri, to return home, and tomorrow they would meet again. But that night, Keshav Kashmiri, in a dream, he saw Vidya Sarasvatī, who was his Ishtadev and who had empowered him throughout his career as a Digvijay Pandit. And Keshav Kashmiri was weeping, asking why he had been defeated by this young boy. And Sarasvatī said, I am Vidya Sarasvatī, and you met my master, who is ultimately Sri Krishna, is my master, and he is representing Devi Sarasvatī. So I cannot defeat my master in debate. And then Keshav Kashmiri, and then Vidya Sarasvatī said, by my mercy of bestowing all this knowledge on you, it has brought you to the lotus feet of this Supreme Personality. This is your greatest fortune. And described the glories of Nimai Pandit as being non-different to that Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Keshav Kashmiri understood this because of his, somehow he had some mercy from Vidya Saraswati, and he understood and he accepted immediately that Nimai was that Supreme Personality. But this is Vidya Saraswati. And then Keshav Kashmiri, he surrenders everything to Nimai Pandit, and he takes up the path of bhakti, devotional service. But this is Vidya Saraswati, who was on his tongue defeating all the Pandas, not Devi Saraswati or Shuddha Saraswati. We see in Brahma Samhita also, when Lord Brahma, he hears that sound of tapa to be austerity, and this is, and gives him the Gopal mantra. This is Devi Saraswati. This is not Vidya Saraswati. So today the devotees can appreciate this distinction between the material Vidya Saraswati and the transcendental Devi or Shuddha Saraswati. So today there will be a big festival, especially in Bengal, celebrating Saraswati, because they want Saraswati in their learning and their knowledge, their material learning, etc. So today is Saraswati Puja, celebrated all over India. Today also is the appearance day of Pundarik Vidyanidhi. So Pundarik Vidyanidhi was born in what is today Bangladesh, the town, the province of Chittagong, and in the same village as Gadadhar Pandit, because in Krishna Leela, Pundarik Vidyanidhi is Brishabhanu Maharaj, and he appears in the same village as the manifestation of Shri Radhika, of course, who is Gadadhar. Gadadhar's father is Madhava Goswami. So they were born in this, but Gadadhar didn't meet Pundarik Vidyanidhi at that time. Then there's a very famous meeting when they meet together in Navadvip. Mukunda Datta, he takes his dear friend Gadadhar Pandit to meet this great saintly person he's describing him as. But when they came into the room of Pundarik Vidyanidhi, it was very opulent, extremely opulent. Pundarik Vidyanidhi is lying on a silk bed with cushions, etc., and servants are fanning him with chamaras and so on. He has a golden spittoon, he's chewing pan, and his hair is very oiled, he's wearing silk cloth. He looks like a Vishaya, like an enjoyer. And Gadadhar Pandit's first impression, Gadadhar was very austere his whole life. And when he sees this exhibition of sensual objects, he becomes disturbed in his mind, thinking, how could this be a pure devotee? Why has Mukunda Datta brought me to see this person? Mukunda Datta, hearing his mind, he chants this beautiful verse, Aho Bakiyam Stanakala Kutam Jikamsi Apayad Abhyasadavi Labhe Gatim Dratya Chutatim Tam Kam Va Dayalam Sharanam Vrajema, that Krishna gave this mercy to even Putana, the witch Putana. He gives her a birth in Goloka Vrindavan as a nursemaid. And when Pundarik Vidyanidhi hears this beautiful, this is described as the compassion quality of Krishna, that he will do this to even a demon, a demoness. He'll give her the birth of a maidservant, because she actually offered him, she came in the disguise of a mother and offered Krishna her breast milk, which was of course poisoned. But Krishna still nevertheless accepted her as a mother and gave her a birth as a nursemaid in Golok, not Gokul, in Golok. So, and when Vidyanidhi, Pundarik Vidyanidhi hears this verse, he goes into such a high state of ecstasy, and he smashes all the surrounding furniture, etc., rolling around, and he tears at his well-oiled hair and cloths and so on. And for several hours, he's in a high state of bhav. And then Gadadhar Pandit realizes that perhaps he's made a great offense by thinking like that, by feeling like that. And he decides in his heart to accept initiation from Pundarik Vidyanidhi. And he requests Mahaprabhu if that should be done. Mahaprabhu consents. So Gadadhar Pandit, he takes initiation from Pundarik Vidyanidhi, who is none other, of course, than Vrishabhanu Maharaj in Varshana, and of course Gadadhar is Sri Radhika. So, but Pundarik is an eternal associate, Vrishabhanu Maharaj. Also, there's more beautiful pastimes in Puri, where Pundarik visits Jagannath Puri and sees the starched cloth that they are using on Lord Jagannath, and feels that this is an offense. And Jagannath and Baladev, they come in his dream and they slap his cheeks very hard, that he should not criticize the pandas of Lord Jagannath in any way. And it's a very beautiful pastime. But Pundarik Vidyanidhi himself was very, very, even though externally he was exhibiting this opulence, in his heart he was the most respectable, respected personality as Vrishabhanu Maharaj in Krishna Leela. So today we're celebrating Pundarik Vidyanidhi's appearance day. There are many pastimes about Pundarik Vidyanidhi, but because we have so many personalities today to glorify, we're trying to keep it very short. So also, it's the appearance day of Raghunandan. Raghunandan, in his eternal form, is Pradumna of the Chatuvyuha. And Raghunandan is the son of Mukunda Shekhar, who's the brother of Narahari Shekhar. And they live in Shrikand in Navadvip Dham, just an hour's drive from Navadvip. And Shrikand is the home of many, many Vaishnavas. So Raghunandan, in his childhood, his father, who was a Kaviraj, a doctor, serving the royal Shah of Bengal, had to go to his services. So he requests his young son, Raghunandan, to please take care of Thakurji and offer the bhoga while he's away. So Raghunandan, he carries the bhoga into Thakurji's altar room, and he begins to call for Gopinath, who is the Thakurji, to please come and accept his bhoga. And Gopinath is not moving, of course, this is the deity, but Raghunandan, in his youthful mood of sincerity, calls out very heartily, "You please come and accept this bhoga. My mother has made this bhoga for you." And he offers prayers so beautifully. And Gopinath's heart is melted by the child's insistence, and he comes off the altar and he takes all that prasadam, or that bhoga rather, that has been offered by Raghunandan. Then Raghunandan takes the empty plate out and his mother is astonished. "Well, where's the prasadam?" And Raghunandan says, "Oh, he ate it all, he took it all." So his mother is astonished. And when Mukunda comes back, he hears about this and he's astonished by actually what happened. So he thinks the next day, "I'll ask him to do it again, but this time I'll hide behind a curtain and I'll see what actually happens." So Mukunda Shekhar, is hiding behind a curtain, and again Raghunandan comes in and he makes the offering and he begins calling very sweetly, "Krishna, is it because I'm so young that you don't want to come and accept this bhoga my mother has made for you?" And then Krishna, he hesitates this time because of course he knows that his father is hiding behind the curtain, but nevertheless he comes out and he takes a laddu and he eats it. And suddenly Mukunda comes out from the curtain and in astonishment to see his Thakurji has actually come to life and is accepting this Bhoga offering from his young son, Raghunandana. And even today, that deity of Gopinath is there in Srikand. You can go to see that deity, and he has a half-eaten laddu in his hand. So this is the potency of Raghunandan. Raghunandan is a great, great person. Raghunandan Acharya is his full title. And he was a great, great personality, a great devotee, inspiring the devotees just at the time of Mahaprabhu's pastimes. He was there at that time. So there's many other pastimes about Raghunandan. Also, his ankle bell flies off in one kirtan about 10 miles away, and it lands, and they make a beautiful pukur where that ankle bell lands. So there are many pastimes of Raghunandan, but we celebrate him as Pradumna of the in the Chatuvyuha, so the Cupid of the Chatuvyuha. So this is Raghunandan, and it's his appearance day today. So now Shyama Didi, she will speak on Srila Visnunath Chakravati Thakur's glories, and then Bilvamangala Thakur will speak on Visnupriya, and I'll speak something at the end, hoping that we've got time on Raghunatha das Goswami. So all these personalities should be remembered, and as much as possible, remember their pastimes and activities today. So Vasant pancami ki jai, Sarasvatī puja ki jai, Raghunandana ki jai, Pundarik Vidyanidhi ki jai. And now is Visnunath Chakravati Thakur. Hare Krishna. This is Shyama Didi, the wife of Bilvamangala Thakur.
Hare Krishna. Dhanavad Maharaj, and to all the devotees present here today. Om Agyanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Ena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga and Srila Visvanatha Chakravati Thakur on his disappearance.
Go ahead.
On his disappearance day. Today is also the appearance and disappearance of many great personalities, and just now we saw Maharaj briefing about all of them. So I am trying to glorify, being ordered by Maharaj, one of the greatest personalities who's very close in his understanding and realizations of the scriptures to that of our Rupanuga Acharya, Srila Rupa Goswami. So Visvanath means one who reveals the jewel of devotion to Visvanath, that Visvanath is the Lord of the universe. And then Chakravati means he who expands the chakra or the circle of bhakti. So that is what Srila Visnupriya Chakravati Thakur did. So he was born in a Brahman family of Radhiya Brahmanas in Devagram village of Nadia district in the year around 1626. Some places it is mentioned that he is born around 1639, so not so clear. And then his father's name was Ram Narayan and his mother was unknown. I mean, the name is not known. And his earlier name was Hari Vallabha, and he had two brothers. One is called Ramabhadra, the eldest brother, and then the younger one was Raghunatha. So then his spiritual master was Sri Radharaman Chakravati, and he was a disciple of Sri Krishna Charan Chakravati. So then he studied grammar in Devagram, and later he took up the serious study of scriptures under the guidance of his guru, that is Radharaman Chakravati in Murshidabad district. So then in those days the child marriage was rampant, and so he was married at a very young age, But then when he grew up, he didn't show much interest in his married life, and what he did was he tried to help his wife to develop a taste for Bhagavatam. And after she developed the taste for Bhagavatam, so he kind of detached himself from family life. And just like the Goswamis, he was very serious in his devotional practice, and he decided to settle in Vrindavan. So he started living in Vrindavan near Radhakund. And then he was worshipping Sri Radha Gokulanandaji and also Sri Giriraj Govardhan. So this deity was earlier worshipped by Srimad Mahaprabhu himself, and later he had given it to Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, and then later to Mukunda Das, and then it had come to Visnupriya Thakurani, and then it finally came to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So most of his pastimes happened in Radhakund, and also his final pastimes happened in Radhakund. And after that, he entered the Nitya Leela, the service to Srimati Radhika as a Vinoda Manjari. So before that, before coming into spiritual life, he was called as Hari Vallabha. So by the mercy of his guru, he was able to write about 40 books while residing in different parts of Vrindavan. And his books are great treasure for all Gaudiya Vaishnavas, especially his commentaries on Srimad Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, which gives a very deep and clear understanding for the Vaishnavas, and it gives all the secret understandings that is difficult to understand. So he has brought out all these things for us to understand, and Srila Gurudev says that he is a Rasika acharya, just like Srila Rupa Goswami. So his realizations are also very, very close to Srila Rupa Goswami. So this is a very valuable treasure for all our Gaudiya Vaishnavas, because it is very, very sweet and nectarian. Then Srila Viswanath Chakravarti Thakur has an important place in Gaudiya Vaishnava history. That is, as he was like a guardian and the chief acharya, says Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvatī Prabhupada, Jagadguru, because he was the one who tried to help the Gaudiya Vaishnavism spread after Mahaprabhu had left, and when these associates had taken over. That is a modern era of Gaudiya Vaishnavism. So in between these two phases, Srila Viswanath Chakravarti Thakur was the one who cultured this Vaishnavism in the whole of Bengal. And then Srila Viswanath Chakravarti Thakur, he is very close to Srila Rupa Goswami's understanding and he and so he has simplified many of Srila Rupa Goswami's books, like he has written the Ujjvala Neelamani of Srila Rupa Goswami as Ujjvala Neelamani Kiran, and then Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu as Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu, and Laghu Bhagavatamritam as Bhagavatamrita Khana. So like that, many books he has simplified for us, because these books are in Sanskrit and very difficult to understand. So he has simplified his language and put in simple words and very clear understanding. So this becomes easier for people with some knowledge of Sanskrit. Then after the disappearance of Mahaprabhu and his associates like Sri Srinivasacharya, Narottam Das Thakur, Shyamananda Prabhu, Srila Sukadev Goswami expanded the Bhakti movement in Bengal and wrote many small and books in Sanskrit, like Chamatkara Chandrika, Madhurya Kadambani, Gopal Tapani Upanishad, Ananda Chandrika, so many like that. And he also managed to write some poems in Bengali. During that time, it was believed that only a renunciate was eligible to act as an acharya and not a householder. But Srila Vishwanath Chakravati Thakur disagreed with this and said that anyone with proper qualification and understanding of the scriptures can become an acharya and can also get the title as Goswami. Then once after reading Srila Krishnadaraj Kavidas Goswami's Chaitanya Charitamrita, he could not understand the graphical representation or description of the Kama Gayatri mantra and lamented. Then Srimati Radhika herself appeared and gave him the understanding of the mystery mantra by her mercy, proving that it could be understood only by the mercy of Srimati Radhika and nobody else. When Sri Vaishnavas of Sri Ramanuja Sampradaya visited the king of Jaipur, and the Jaipur king had taken shelter of Gaudiya Vaishnavism, but these Sri Vaishnavas questioned about the authenticity of the Sampradaya, and so the king asked Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur to clear the doubt. So then Vishwanath Chakravati Thakur, being very old, he sent his disciple Sri Baladev Vidyabhushanji, who came and clarified the doubt, and he wrote the Govinda Bhashya after taking blessings of his Guru and Sri Govinda Devji, and established that Gaudiya Vaishnavism as a bona fide sampradaya. So with this, I wish to conclude the glorification of Parampavan Vaishnava Acharya Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur on his disappearance day. Thanking Maharaj for his wonderful opportunity to glorify so many great Vaishnava personalities on this special day. I seek all the blessings of all these Vaishnavas so that we may all progress in a path of devotion. I request you all to forgive me for my mistakes and ignorance. So thank you Maharaj and all the devotees for your patience and association. Vancha kalpatarubhescha kripasindhyocha patitanam bhavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo.
Jai. Thank you so much, Shamadhi. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, now Bilva Mangala Thakur Prabhu will speak on Visnupriya. 10 minutes, no more.
Dandavat pranams to all the assembled devotees. Dandavat pranams to Bhaktivedanta Tirudandi Maharaj. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. So today we will begin by glorifying Srimati Visnupriya Devi. So let us step back in time, travel back in time to the year 1508 AD. So that was the year in which Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had just toured East Bengal, collecting a lot of students there and teaching the students there. And at that time he was married to Srimati Lakshmi Priya. So he returned with many students, and also he brought a lot of gifts with him, and he came back to Navadvip. So when he returned to Navadvip, he met Sachimata, and he paid his obeisances to her, and then so after a long journey he rested, and then later he found that Sachimata seemed to be very distressed. So on inquiring, he understood that his wife Lakshmi Priya Devi had passed away in the bitten by the snake bite of separation. So Sachimata was very distressed, and she started looking out for another wife for her son, and she contacted one Kashinath Pandit. So this was the same Brahmin who in Krishna Leela was called Kulaka, and who had gone on behalf of Satyajit Maharaj to Lord Krishna and arranged the marriage between Lord Krishna and Satyabhama, who was the daughter of Satyajit. So this way, Kashinath Mishra, on the order of Mother Sachi, quickly went and arranged. So he went to the house of Sanatan Mishra and directly asked for the hand of his beautiful daughter, who was a great devotee of Lord Vishnu, and she was named Visnupriya. And this way, she, very soon the arrangements were made and the marriage happened in a very grand fashion. So there was one personality called Buddhi Mantakan, who was a great aristocrat, and he took the entire responsibility for all the expenses involving that marriage. And he said, I'm going to conduct this marriage on such a grand scale that it would look like a marriage of a prince. So after the marriage, Mahaprabhu went on a visit to Gaya, and that is where he met his spiritual master Ishwarapuri and took initiation from him. And after having returned, his entire mood had changed. So earlier he used to go around very arrogantly challenging anybody and everybody in Navadvip Dham, but after the return, so the same Nimai Pandit became what is called Bhavuka Pandit. And and that was the period when for many long months they had nightly kirtans at Srivas Angan. And so soon after this, Mahaprabhu was making the plans to take sannyas, and this he did very secretly. But even then, both Mother Sachi and Lakshmi Priya could sense what was happening. And because Lakshmi Priya was the Bhu Shakti of Gaur Narayan, so this way she was very, very intimately connected to the Lord. So on the day that Mahaprabhu was planning to take sannyas, she had gone to the Ganga to take her bath. And unfortunately, her precious nose ring slipped and fell into the water. And however much she tried, she could not retrieve that nose ring. So she took it as a very bad omen and she started crying. And so when she came back that night, Mahaprabhu entered the room and he treated Lakshmi Priya with lot of love. Vishnupriya with lot of love and affection. And he garlanded her, he gave her betel nuts and spoke very affectionately with her. So sensing that this was an unusual behavior from Mahaprabhu, Vishnupriya started crying uncontrollably, clutching the feet of Mahaprabhu. And so Mahaprabhu tried to comfort her, and finally he gave a promise, and which was, wherever I go, if you just remember me in your heart, I will immediately appear in front of you. So you never need to worry about being separated from me. So this was the solemn promise made by Mahaprabhu. And very soon he went to Katwa and took his sannyas under Keshav Bharati. And this was like a thunderbolt to both Mother Sachi and Vishnupriya Devi. And so Lochan Das Thakur in his Chaitanya Mangal has beautifully described the terrible feeling of separation of Vishnupriya. So he describes just after Gauranga's departure from Navadvip, he says, the Mother Earth split wide when on hearing the piteous crying of Vishnupriya. So this reminds us about that incident from Ramayana where the same Mother Earth split wide open to accept Sita Devi. And so not only that, the birds, the beasts, even the inanimate things like the stones, so they started shedding tears on hearing the piteous crying of Visnupriya on her separation from Mahaprabhu. So she started rolling on the ground and she started saying, why does not my sinful life end right now? Why do I have to live and suffer this separation? So soon after Mahaprabhu returned from Katwa, he, as all of you know, went to Shantipur to the house of Advaita Acharya. So then he called for Nityananda Prabhu and told him to immediately go to Navadvip, because the Lord could understand that since his departure from Navadvip, all the devotees, they were just holding on to their life and they were in a very, very sad state. So he sent Nityananda Prabhu to immediately go and bring everybody from Navadvip. So Nityananda Prabhu rushed and he came to Navadvip, met Sachimata, and he said, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wants everybody to come and meet him. So everybody from Navadvip, so whether they were young, they were old, they were students, whether they were young ladies, old women,
even the dogs.
Yeah, even the animals. And so nobody was the exception. The deaf, the dumb, the blind, everybody went to meet Mahaprabhu. So the only sad exception is Visnupriya. So she had to stay behind because that was the custom that a wife could not go and meet her husband after he has taken sannyas. So this way we see that, so there is one more small account given by the disciple of Janava Devi, that is Nityananda Das. So he says in his Prema Vilas that this was a daily practice of Vishnupriya, that he would take 2 pots, one empty and one full of uncooked rice, and she would start chanting the Maha Mantra very sweetly, and with the completion of every Maha Mantra, she would transfer 1 grain of rice into the empty pot. So this would go on till noontime, and then she would get up and then she would wash the rice not only with water but with her own tears, and then cook it and offer it to the Lord. And then first she will give it to Mother Sachi, and she would then take her remnants. So this was, yes, this was the daily practice of Vishnupriya. And Vishnupriya, by her devotion and austerity, played a very important role in the spread of the Gaudiya Vaishnavism. So with this, I would like to end my presentation. Vishnupriya Mata ki jai. Vanchakalpataru
Mention 2 sannyasis.
Yes.
So there is mention Swarup, Parvat Goswami.
Yes. So today is also the disappearance day of Tridandi Swami, Sri Srimad Bhakti Swarup Parvat Goswami Maharaj, and also the disappearance day of Tridandi Swami, Sri Srimad Bhakti Vivek Bharati Goswami Maharaj. So unfortunately we are not able to do justice due to the lack of time. Vanchakalpataru Bhishta Kripa Sindhu Bhaircha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo.
Thank you so much, Bill Mangalatako. Thank you. Thank you. So many personalities we're trying to glorify in such a short space of time to keep some sort of a schedule here. So, yes, we've heard the glories of Srila Vishnupriya Chakravati Thakur and the glories, the immense glories of Vishnupriya Devi. And yes, so also it's the appearance day of Raghunatha das Goswami. This immense personality in our line. He was born in the town of Saptagram, or close by Saptagram. And from his youth, his guru is Raghunandana acharya, who is a disciple of Advaita acharya. But his father and uncle, Govardhan Majumdar and Hiranya Majumdar, are described as prior Vaishnavas. They were favorable to the Vaishnavas, but they would try and enjoy material life because they were incredibly opulent. Raghunath was actually a prince. He was born with so much opulence. But he met, by the mercy of Raghunandana acharya, Haridas Thakur when he was quite young. Haridas Thakur was in his kutia, and Raghunath went there and had darshan. And my Gurudev describes at that time, Haridas Thakur planted the seed of vairagya, or renunciation, into the heart of Raghunath Das. And from that time, Raghunath Das had absolutely, totally no attraction or affection for the material nature whatsoever, to such a degree that he became practically fanatical about it, in fact. But he heard about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and one time Mahaprabhu was traveling to Ramkeli, and he stayed in Shantipur with Advaita Acharya, and Raghunath Das requested his father to actually go there, and he met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at that place. There was a brief meeting, but it was enough to open the heart completely of Raghunath Das. So all Raghunath Das wanted to do after that was spend his time with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu then went to Ramkeli, Raghunath Das returns home, and Raghunath Das then begins to try to escape from his palace. But his father had put many soldiers and servants to guard him because he was trying to get to just perform service to Mahaprabhu directly. And then a little later, Mahaprabhu, when he returned from Ramkeli, he again came to Shantipur and again stayed with the Vaidacharya, and again his father allowed him to go and have darshan. And at that time, Mahaprabhu instructed him not to act like a crazy man, but to become like a pound, shillings, and pence man, to become like externally like a Vishaya, not to demonstrate this Makrita Vairagya, this external renunciation, but to actually contain his renounced mood within his heart. And from that meeting, then Raghunath came back to Saptagram and behaved in a very orderly way, and his parents became peaceful somewhat that yes, he'd been transformed and that he wasn't going to try and run away again. And then, to the greatest fortune of his, just north of his house where he stays, is a place called Panihati, where Raghava Pandit and Damayanti live. Damayanti is a sister of Raghava Pandit. And they were hosting Nityananda Prabhu. And Raghunath again requested his father to go and have darshan of Nityananda. And he came to Nityananda and he was offering his obeisances from a distance. And Nityananda and his servants caught him. And Nityananda described him as being like a thief. You're trying to steal my mercy from a distant place. You should come in front of me. Actually, I'm going to punish you for this offense. You have to feed all the Vaishnavas here. And Raghunath Das was most happy to hear that. And with the money that he'd brought from his father, he bought so much dahi and flat rice and bananas and condensed milk. And the Chid Dahi festival was then performed on the banks of the Ganga with Nityananda Prabhu. And Raghunath Das achieved so much mercy from this festival that he offered to the Vaishnavas. And at the end of this festival, Nityananda Prabhu placed his lotus feet on his head. And because of that mercy, and Nityananda said to him at that time, very soon you will be liberated from the clutches of your family life. You will be able to become free and to run to Jagannath Puri, where you want to take shelter of Mahaprabhu. So by the mercy of Nityananda, sometime later, a short time later, in his house in Saptagram, one very early morning, Yadunandan came to the house of Raghunatha Das and requested him to come and help him persuade the pujari to come back and take up his service. The pujari had neglected his service, and Raghunatha Das was such a beautiful personality, he could convince anyone of anything. And Yadunandan, he took Raghunath across the fields to the house, and the guards and soldiers didn't suspect anything at that time because he was with his guru, Yadunandan. And then, as they're walking, Raghunath turns to Yadunandan and says, well, you don't have to come with me. I can go alone here now. And Yadunandan understood that and went to his house, and then Raghunath realized, now I'm free. Now there's no soldiers with me and there's just an open road in front of me. So then he ran for 10 days solid to Jagannath Puri. And it's described that he just stayed off the main roads completely and just went through the back roads to Jagannath Puri. And when he arrived in a very weakened condition, in the assembly of Mahaprabhu was there by then Mahaprabhu embraced him and said, you have become freed from this material ditch, this stool ditch of material life, and you come now to in the shelter of the Vaishnavas. And then Mahaprabhu, he puts him in the hand, places him in the hands of Swarup Damodar. And then Raghunatha Das, he demonstrates his renunciation, not demonstrates it, but he doesn't take any prasadam from the general place, but he begins to beg at the Svingadvaha gate. His father is at this time very concerned and he's sending him money, but Raghunatha Das is not accepting any of that except in use of service to the Vaishnavas. And then he himself is begging at the Svingadvaha gate, but after some time he gives that up and he takes food from the free booth there beside that gate. So Mahaprabhu, when he hears of his renunciation, he's very, very pleased. And finally, Raghunatha Das, he decides that he doesn't even want to take that free food, and he takes the rejected rice, the Taralinga gate, that even the cows have rejected after it's been thrown away. The rotten rice from Lord Jagannath's offerings are thrown away, and Raghunath would take that rice, wash it very carefully, and take it with a little bit of salt. And when Mahaprabhu heard this, he ran straight to that place and saw Raghunath taking that rice and immediately grabbed a handful and took some grains in his mouth. And Swarup Damodar was with Mahaprabhu at that time. And Mahaprabhu wanted to take another handful, but Swarup Damodar requested, no, you've taken enough, this food is not fit for your digestion. So this is the exemplary renunciation of Raghunatha Das. This is actually a very lengthy pastime, and I'm trying to condense it all into just a matter of minutes, but I hope if you're familiar with this pastime, you'll catch all the code words that I've been saying all the way through and put the whole story together yourselves. So Raghunatha Das, he stayed with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for 15 years in Jagannath Puri, witnessing all of Mahaprabhu's remarkable ecstatic transformations. He saw Mahaprabhu when he manifested that tortoise form, when he pulled all his limbs into his body, tasting that extreme Vipralamba bhav of Sri Radhika. He saw Mahaprabhu when he was captured by the fishing net in the ocean by that fisherman. He saw all these pastimes directly. Plus, he also was able to hear the descriptions directly from Swarup Damodar's notebooks, his kadachas. And so he was such a qualified repository of all the pastimes of Mahaprabhu. And when Mahaprabhu left this world, then many of the associates, Swarup Damodar, Gadadhar, Pandit, Rai Ramananda, they all left the world. And then Raghunath was feeling totally destitute, and he came to Vrindavan to leave his body by jumping off Govardhan Hill, because he thought if he left his body in Govardhan, that would be auspicious in remembering Vrindavan pastimes. But Rupa and Sanatan met him there and convinced him not to do this. This is not the correct behavior, that there was many works that Mahaprabhu wanted to enact through him, that he should go and live in Radhakund. So then he went to Radhakund for 40 years. 40 years now he lived in Radhakund, and Krishnadas Kaviraj associated with Raghunath Das, and Raghunath Das would relate all of the pastimes he had experienced in Puri Dham, and all the pastimes that Swarup Damodar had revealed him in the confidential meetings in the Gambhira between Ramananda Rai and Swarup Damodar. So Krishnadas Kaviraj collected all of these pastimes and has given us today this most holy, sacred of books, this Chaitanya Charitamrita described. There is no other book. Even Chaitanya Bhagavat doesn't go into these sort of details in Puri. Chaitanya Bhagavat is a wonderful contribution, but the speciality of the Chaitanya Charitamrita is because all of the very confidential pastimes in Puri are being described by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj, who heard them directly from the lotus-like mouth of Raghunatha das Goswami. And then Raghunath Das, living in Radhakund, in his heights of separation, he wrote for us a bouquet of lamentations in the form of this Vilap Kusumanjali. And he wrote this over a period of many years. And he also wrote the Stavamala, he wrote Manashiksha, he wrote so many granthas living there in Radhakund. So today, remembering the glories of Raghunath Das, his renunciation in particular, no one has demonstrated. In his years in Radhakund, he would just take one leaf cup of buttermilk daily. That was all he would take. It's described by some that actually he had tuberculosis and was just weeping and weeping. He had a desire at one time to manifest Radhakund itself, and then he condemned himself for thinking such a material idea. But Krishna had heard that idea and sent one very wealthy Seti or merchant to him to give all his wealth to Raghunath to manifest this Radhakund. And Raghunath engages that merchant, that wealthy merchant, in constructing the Radhakund that we have today. So we are remembering Raghunath Das as that personality who manifested the Radhakund that we have. Previously, it was just a couple of water holes in the time of Mahaprabhu, Gauri Ket and Kali Ket, these two buffalo holes. And Mahaprabhu, Raghunath Das, he manifested these kunds that we have today. So there is such a wealth of gifts, treasures that Raghunath Das, Rati Manjari, has given us. Raghunath himself, of course, lived in the association in Radhakund, seeing Rupa and Sanatan Goswamis regularly. They were also Manjaris, of course. So this was the association of Raghunath Das. And so, yes, so he is our Prayojan Acharya. He is illuminating the final sadhya, the final goal that we've been reading about in our Rai Ramananda Sangvad. What is that final goal of Prem Vilas Vivart? He's revealing these most esoteric pastimes, and his most worshipable deity is Gopinath. So he is our Prayojan Acharya, Raghunath Das Goswami. When we go to Radhakund, there are two places. We go into the temple of Gopinath himself, just beside Janavamata's sitting place, and Gopinath is on the altar there. Gopinath is standing with his left side to Ananga Manjari, and on his right side is Shri Radhika, and in front of them is his Pushpa Samadhi, the very large Pushpa Samadhi there. And then just behind that is his actual Samadhi, His full samadhi is behind there. So in Radhakund there are 2 samadhis for Raghunatha Das. So such a exalted personality, and we are celebrating his appearance day today. I apologize for not speaking so much more, because there is so much more, of course, but we're trying to keep in the constraints of our time frame. So today we've celebrated Vasant pancami in particular. This is the principal focus today. And then Sarasvatī puja and the disappearance of Sri Visnupriya Chakravati Thakur, the appearance of Srimati Visnupriya Devi, the appearance of Raghunandana Das, the appearance of Pundarik Vidyanidhi. So all of these personalities. Did I miss anybody out?
The 2 sannyasis.
Huh? Oh, and the 2 sannyasis. It's their disappearance day of Swarup Pundarik Goswami and the disappearance day of Bhakti Vivek Bharati Goswami Maharaj. So an immensely auspicious day, and we've mentioned all these personalities in a very compressed way, and I hope our viewers and listeners have got some remembrances of these personalities. And Sarasvatī puja, I missed out that also. So Vasant Panchami ki jai, Anantakota Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Raghunatha das Goswami Pada ki jai, Visnupriya ki jai, Visvanatha Chakravati Thakur ki jai, Pundarik Vidyanidhi ki jai, Raghunandana das ki jai, Anantakota Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Go Premanandi. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol, Go Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol, Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhumevacha, Patitanam Pavanibhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Namo Namah, Radha Madan Mohan Ju Ki Jai, Go Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol.